All right. Welcome to the Guitars, Cowboys, and Hillbilly Music Podcast. You're here today with Red Arnold and Jagger Pfeiffer, and we are joined today by the Chad Cooke Band. How are we doing today, gentlemen?
What's up, man?
Hey, now.
Doing great.
How are you?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and just introduce you guys for our viewers.
Yeah, Chad Cooke of the Chad Cooke Band.
Dallas of the Chad Cooke Band. Mike of the Chad Cooke Band.
We're missing our bass player, Kevin, right now.
Of the Chad Cooke Band.
He took off to the restaurant.
He's having dinner.
He's having dinner.
Where are they eating?
Some barbecue restaurant down the road. I'm not sure where.
We're sponsored by a barbecue restaurant here in town.
What's it called?
Bad Brad's.
I think that's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's it.
we can leave it in then.
Sponsored by Miller Lite and Bad Brad's, y'all. That's awesome. Well, we're about to have some Bad Brad's barbecue sandwiches here in a little bit, so
Good.
Awesome.
we'll let you know how it is.
You chose wisely. You
Okay,
chose wisely.
that's good to hear. That's good to know.
Yeah,
So-
you'll find we do things different around here.
Well, as a band, we all been playing for ourselves with other bands, rock bands and stuff like that. Actually, before we got into country music, I was in a Christian rock band in high school and then in college, and then anyway after that, probably in 2000 and when I meet you, Dallas.
Me and Chad, we met in December of 2014.
Yeah,
He was looking for a new guitar player.
I just
and
moved to Houston, Texas, and Dallas is living in Houston.
We met on Craigslist in the back pages there.
I was looking for late night romance, and Dallas is the only one that responded.
But in all realness, I had a friend who lives in Nashville now, and he's always on Craigslist, always on any kind of site looking for whatever's going on. And he goes, "Hey man, he gave me a ring and said, I gave your phone number to this guy named Chad. He's going to give you a call. He needs a guitar player." I'm like, "Okay, thanks. I'm already playing with a group." But anyway, here we are some years later, and yeah, 2014. That's when we got together.
We were told when we came in here to just forego all the softball questions,
Yeah.
all the soft tosses, and just get right to the heavy hitters.
Yeah, I
That's
heard
right.
management walked in here and said something.
No one likes
stern.
a boring podcast.
So let's start it off hot. Let's start it off.
Let's do it. Real questions, hardball.
Your worst story from the road. Craziest thing that's happened on the road.
Craziest thing. Damn.
Craziest?
Maybe. Well,
I mean, Cody Hibbert just told us he had a gun pulled on him. So you got to top that story.
we pulled some guns. Hadn't had one pulled on us. Yeah, we got to stay. You don't know where we're going. We're from Houston, Texas, so you got to always have. You got to stay locked and loaded. But our bass player's not here right now. That's not. I don't know if it's a crazy story, but we like to leave him places.
Eh.
He's been left a few places, and we'll get I don't know.
We don't like to leave him.
30
We accidentally.
30, 40 miles down the road, and we forget Kevin's not with us.
He wanders off. And he's a bass player.
Well, and then when he's in the van, he's in his bunk, so we don't know. We're not sure where he's at half the time. But I don't know. Crazy stories. I don't know.
Well, hey, can we circle back on that one? Because I know we have some. I cannot think of it because I know between.
We've been broke down so many times too, so that happens a lot. But what was Cody's crazy story?
He said that they were driving to a show. They were in Oklahoma City. They were driving to a show, and there was a guy that cut him off. They was having a lot of road rage, and so
Cody had a lot of road rage.
something like that.
I bet he did.
That sounds right.
So this guy, they were beside him, and they were going 90 down I-35 or something, and he was just laughing about it. And then he turned over, and this old man, and he had his old lady in the passenger seat, just had a gun just across his old lady, just pointed at him out the window. And Cody just "Oh, that's funny, yeah, good job." And so apparently he was just still pissed off, so he actually just got behind him and just rode his ass all the way, just the entire time, just because he got a gun. It was pretty hilarious.
Matt saved us one time on the road because there's not seatbelts in these Sprinters. So Cody and us have the same vehicle. It's a Sprinter van conversion, so it has 5 bunks in the back and couches. So there's no seatbelts in these Sprinter vans unless you're sitting in the front seats. So we were on I-45 at somewhere. An 18-wheeler moved over in our lane, and we were gonna hit him. He was gonna hit us. And I was in my bunk, and I just remember Matt slammed on the brakes, went into the ditch, the median of I-45 going towards Houston, between Houston and Dallas. And I was in the back. I was like, okay, here, this is it. This is how I die. And he slammed it. I could hear everybody in the front that was yelling, "Ah!" And then Matt went into the grass and then came back on, and we got back on the highway, and everything was okay. But I thought, for that split moment, I was like, when we first got these vehicles, I thought, man, because I'm all about, wear a seatbelt, safety first. I've been in some car wrecks before, and a seatbelt saved my life. But these damn things don't have them. So, Matt, we love you for keeping us safe, brother.
Yeah. Is it ever hard so you're all in the same bus all the time?
That's correct.
You ever get fed up with each other?
All the time.
No.
All the time?
No, we actually, yeah, we don't. We really don't. I mean, we
have our little moments, it just depends on if you're a morning person and somebody isn't, you can have a little conflict early in the morning, but you'll work it out. You know what I mean? Like, mainly me and KP. It's just because we're a lot of the same, but we're a lot of different. And it might start with something that's like, hey, man, you can't put that thing in that order because it doesn't work the best way. It's like, oh, fuck it, whatever. And then he walks off, I'm going to tell Mikey, man, KP, what up, yeah. And then KP hears me say, hey, man, that's not cool. And I'm like,
I love we can talk about KP. He's not here right now.
yeah.
KP, watch you later.
He'd be like, yeah, he remembers.
He remembers.
But you know what? It lasts for like 2 or 3 minutes, and we're done. We move on.
Yeah.
We've gotten good at that. That's how you got to have, because we've had the same band members. We don't have like stand-in band members. Mm-hmm. It's just us four, and it's probably 6-7 years now.
Yep.
It's just been us four. So to keep that unit together, you gotta be able to let the bullshit go, and just get along. You're not gonna get along all the time.
And we have the same purpose. I mean, everybody is all in. Everybody is going for the same kind of goal. So at the end of the day, all that stuff is a wash with us. And frankly, we know each other way too well. Mm-hmm. Way too well. So, it's kind of like with your brother. It's easy to let it go.
Yeah.
I'm not a big stickler on, like, you got to stay classic. We have a lot of classic traditional sounds in our music, which we like to keep that alive in our music because that's just what we do. But, we're big fans of, we jam a lot of, Hardy and, Morgan Wallen and stuff like that. Blake Shelton, Eric Church, going down the road. Mm-hmm. We spend a lot of time in the van jamming music. But, I don't know. I'm a Co Wetzel, too, I mean, big fans of all that.
You mentioned Hardy. What's your take on the new Mockingbird and the Crow album?
Badass.
We're big fans.
Yeah, no doubt.
When we started this band, we never wanted to be pigeonholed in any one position. That we'd always be able to be fluid in what we were doing within the realm of country music. That way, we love traditional country music. We love contemporary country music. There's so much good out there. And to section yourself off from just one part of it's not a good thing. Yeah. So we love all that new stuff coming out. Mm-hmm. And when we have an artist like Hardy that can come out and be brave enough, essentially to work with a label and say, this is what I'm going to do, and have that label support, man, if you're doing something like that, you must be doing something special. And I think that record's special. Mm-hmm. You can hear the country, you can hear the rock, but the best blend. And I don't know, we probably listened to that album multiple times now.
Yep.
And I think labels these days are doing a lot better job of not trying to constrict an artist. They're allowing like Hardy, and other artists to be able to record what they want. Explicit content, content that is definitely not going to be on top 40 radio, but they know that people out there. Well, and this is another thing that might be controversial too. But, radio might be a dying thing, so record labels are starting to see the trend is flowing more towards Spotify, Apple Music, your streaming services, and they're not confining artists to say, hey, you can't say that, you can't do that,
right.
You can do whatever the hell you want, and labels are starting to catch on to, hey, if people like it, that's all that matters. They're all about dollar signs. Dollar signs aren't coming from radio play anymore. Coming from streaming, and live shows.
It has been fun to watch our scene grow, though. The Texas scene has grown a lot since we've started, and we still consider ourselves a young band, still getting our footing too. But it's fun to watch the new artists that are coming up right now, like Palmer Anthony and even we met Cody just a few years ago, and we live very close to each other. But that's been fun to watch. Is watch our scene and this. become not necessarily more commercialized, but just I guess more popular in a way that,
Right.
or people are seeing real songwriting and real music happens, and knowing that again, you're not pigeonholed to one thing. You can have a Co Wetzel and you can have a Tristan Merez. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
You want to talk to him about the Texas CMAs?
Yeah,
I'm
I
curious
was gonna
as
ask.
to all of that.
So I saw on your guys' bio on your website, you guys are the 2022 Texas CMA Band of the Year, correct? So what are the because I had never heard of the Texas CMAs until now. Like, is it televised? Is it a YouTube thing? Like, where do they just put out a magazine? Like, how do you, like, where is the video for it to be like that you have the recognition?
Yeah, so that's put on by her name's Linda Wilson. She's been a part of the it's kind of a promoter, if you will, of the Texas country music scene for a long time. She got a good foothold in the Texas music genre. But we got involved with it probably a couple years ago. We got nominated for like New Band of the Year or something. We didn't win it, but we ended up bringing Band of the Year last year. So I think 3 years ago was our first time being a part of this. But you have a couple award shows in Texas. There's actually 2 different Texas CMAs. I think Linda's is a little more legitimate. They have it at the Arlington Live, so we'll be there this week. But I mean, you got artists like so this year you're gonna have like I don't know who's gonna be there. Pat Green.
We have regional radio.
Aaron
this
Watson.
week,
William Clark Green, Randy Rogers. So all those cats show up for it. And it's a cool networking event. I mean, if you win something cool, and we were excited to win new Band of the Year at the Texas CMAs last year,
We never win, so we had no idea at all. We're sitting there, and it's like, whoa, they just said our name.
It's like, oh, yeah.
And they gave us a really nice belt buckle.
it was at Billy Bob's. That's at Texas Live.
That's cool.
The one we're going to on this coming week is Texas Regional Radio Awards.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's 2 award shows that I think are like legit in Texas, and that's the Texas CMAs. They have that at Billy Bob's every year, and that's with Linda Wilson. And then they have the Texas Regional Radio Awards, which is at Texas Live in Arlington, and that'll be this coming Monday. But yeah, I mean, it's an accolade. It ain't doing shit for you.
Sitting on the shelf.
For any artist out there wondering what it does for you, not jack shit.
Looks good on the resume.
It looks, it's
Sure does sound nice.
yeah, but it's a great networking event. It's something you go to not because you want to win. It's just as cool to be nominated as it is to win it. If you win it, that's great. But like you said, it sits on the shelf. It just collects dust.
You get to
but-
finally catch up with people too.
We can throw it on. We can throw it on a promo. Things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're at the actual CMAs, that's a little different. But
We can use it in the title of this video.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, just throw it on the title. So, but it's cool to be nominated for it. You get to go and you get to network because there's a lot of other artists there, like all the artists I mentioned earlier, and you can go and you can network, you can talk, you can meet, greet, drink, have a good time.
Yeah.
So that part of it is really cool, which is why I think for any new up and coming artists, try to be a part of that stuff. Because networking is 80% of this business. I mean, I hate to say it.
Be nice to people.
Yeah.
On top of that,
Right.
it's a small business.
Yeah, and everybody knows everybody. So, try not to talk shit.
So speaking of that, I don't know if you want to answer this or not, but so I know you guys have probably opened for people before, and you've probably had people open for you before, right?
Yeah.
Has there been a band or an act that has just been assholes to meet, or just terrible? You hated them. Is there anybody out there that you've just been like, I didn't like that guy?
You asked for the hardball question.
I love it. We love real questions, hardball.
It hasn't. If it has, it hasn't happened in a while. I know that. I know the biggest pet peeve with anybody that supports this is if you go over your time slot. I will just say if you cross over into that changeover period, that's when we're like not very cool, and then we probably won't have you back at that point. Just because whenever we support an artist, we try to give them the ultimate consideration, try to know our place, know our footprint, and get out of there and stay within our box. So that would be the only pet peeve. But as far as somebody being a real jerk, I know we met a few, but It hasn't been in a while.
I don't think. I can't think of off the top of my head like anybody that we've walked away and been like, damn, they're an asshole.
Right.
You know, I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
You know, but sometimes like you might think it might happen. I mean, like we opened up for Joe Nichols one time.
Oh no.
And
No.
and
He's a huge Joe Nichols fan.
well, and I am too. You know, I love Joe Nichols, and he was a nice guy. But what I was gonna say is like, some people could have walked away from that and been like, he's an asshole, because like after the show, like I wanted to just say, hey man, thanks for having us on. But his security was with him, and they were kind of like getting him through, and there was nobody backstage, and he was like walking with a flashlight, you know, and like, sorry, no questions. I'm like, I'm not trying to ask him a question. We just opened up for him.
Yeah.
And then, but you know, and they kept walking, but then Joe, I just kind of yelled out, hey man, thanks for having us open. He turned around and was like, oh, you were the opening band, you know, and so he came over and shook my hand and stuff like that. So that happens sometimes. Like Randy Rogers one time, you know, I was watching Leonard Skinner play in Houston, and Whiskey Myers and Randy Rogers opened for him. It was at the Houston racetrack, and I was backstage, and you know, Randy Rogers walked off his bus, and I was like, hey Randy, what's going on? He just kept walking. He didn't turn around or nothing. And his drummer was like, hey man, he's with his family. It was him and his wife walking backstage. So like, I get it.
Yeah.
So people could think, hey, that's an asshole thing, but it ain't, man. I mean, you do this, like, you're on the road all the time, you know, people are always hounding and stuff like that. I get it. You know, it's not, so I don't know. I mean, people think people are an asshole. You know, you got like the Clay Walker thing that came out, him cussing out his bus driver. Yeah. I mean, like, a lot of people want to give him shit for that. I get it. You know, like, I mean, you know.
I like him a little more for it now.
I mean, like, sometimes you get tired on the road, you know, and like, you know, your bus driver, I mean, like, he didn't throw him out of the bus. He cussed his ass out. Sometimes, and Cody Hibb would be the first one to tell you this, sometimes people need a good ass.
Yeah, you gotta cuss him out.
Matt's going to be on edge now when he's driving, making sure he's doing everything right.
Matt don't give a shit. When we start cussing his ass out, he just goes like this, and then he swerves into the next lane, and we fall over. And he's like, you motherfuckers ain't got seatbelts on. I can do the hell I want.
Yeah, the flip side of the coin of that is we met some really cool artists too. Flatland was one of those exceptional bands. Just really great people, great bill to be on. I'd even have to say John Wolfe. You know, every time we were around, you know, John's glad to have you on the bus and hang out, and you know, and there's a good bit of artists that make you feel invited. But I'd say there's anybody that's walking around. If you're listening to this, any artist, if you're walking around with your nose up in the air and you're not acknowledging artists that are around you, hey, check your ego. That's what I'm going to tell you.
We're thinking of one in particular right now.
There's a lot of people out there like that, and it's not that's not cool, man.
Right.
You know, we're all here to help each other, and I get it. We're all some are on different levels than others, you know, but try to be that person that really does give back, you know.
I'm curious though, who? Real questions, hardball.
So do you have any more that were just like kind of exceptionally cool people to open for or to just be around that you met throughout the years?
One artist we've opened up for the most is Whiskey Myers. Coolest cats on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and so I'm from Natchez, Texas. So Cody's my second cousin.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah, and so we grew up together. But so I'm kind of biased in that, but I'm really not, because they started the coolest people ever. But other than that, I mean, like, who's some other cool acts?
I'll tell you a funny one. So the first year we did the Aransas Pass Shrimpery, Josh Abbott band was the headliner, and which the show went great. Our show went great. Their show went great. And it was after the show, Josh came over and he just started, you know, giving some advice, hanging out, and we're like, oh, hey, we get a picture. And I can't remember. I think maybe Mikey, our drummer, wasn't there, but it was me, Chad, Kevin, and Josh Abbott in a photo. And that photo got used by a couple different venues promoting the Chad Cooke band is coming to town.
It was a selfie picture we took. It wound up on Google. Wound up on Google, and so the bands are Googling Chad Cooke band pictures, and it pops up like his first one for some reason. And it's us three. No, is it us?
It's us three and Josh Abbott.
And Josh Abbott. So another time, Kevin wasn't there. And, so
he
Josh
was lost
there. And so like, oh, well, and some people commented, when did Josh Abbott start playing bass guitar for the Chad Cooke band?
If you guys could do a cover album of any songs from that artist, what artist would it be? So you could make a compilation album of that artist's songs.
Of one artist? Mm-hmm. So we probably have three different answers on this. Mine would be Brooks and Dunn.
Okay.
I've told these guys for years, like, if we had a cover band, it was like a tribute band. I'd do Brooks and Dunn.
What would the name be?
I don't know. Red Dirt Road. I don't know. I don't know. I have to think
It's your
about that.
band, bro. You come
Yeah.
up with it, don't
Cooks and Dunn.
Red Dirt Road. Brooks and Dunn tribute.
Yeah, it should be Cooks and Dunn.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what you
I
said?
like-
Is that what you said?
Yeah, Cooks
oh,
and
that's
Dunn.
great.
Yeah.
That's great.
There it is. That's better than
There you
Red
go,
Dirt
Jagger.
Road. Cooks and Dunn.
What about you, Mikey? What would yours be?
I'm sitting here trying to think. I don't know, man. I've been a George Strait fan since the movie Pure Country. So
Okay.
I think it would have to be a George Strait band for sure.
Okay.
Come on.
Yep.
Can't beat that.
We're all pretty close in answers right now so far.
Yeah, it's not too far apart,
Does it
but
have to be country?
No.
No.
Oh.
It can be anything.
just any kind of.
Mikey might have a different answer then on that.
You want to rethink that answer?
That's a hard one. It's gonna be Led Zeppelin. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, man. I'd have to say when I think of an artist that I love and that represents me and everything that I stand for, I think of Jason Aldean, man. I think of Jason Aldean just like on a 4-wheeler with big Vamp mud tires, like tearing up red Georgia clay, getting lit on a dirt road.
So many dirt roads.
I just
in
love
Georgia.
Jason Aldean. I would I don't know. I'd be like throwing my finger in the air, jamming Johnny Cash. But I'd be telling everybody right now, you better not miss me call him Jason Aldean.
Tailgate down.
Yeah, I have a tailgate around a circle, like we back up
Bonfire.
trucks in a circle.
Dirt
around
road
a
anthem
bonfire.
He's from a crazy town. He's from a crazy town.
Yeah, it's full of neon dreams. And what everybody plays and everybody sings. So for me, it'd be Jason Aldean. In that 4-wheeler with them Vamp tires on.
Come on.
That's me.
Wow, that was good. That was a deep cut right there.
How do you guys feel? I'm gonna throw this question out there. How do you guys feel about Dwight Yoakam?
I'm a huge Dwight Yoakam fan.
Yeah,
Always
I'm
have
too.
been, and between Dwight and his guitar player Pete Anderson, both huge influences on me.
Yeah, we our live show. Have y'all ever seen one of our live shows before?
Uh-uh.
Okay, well y'all see it tonight, right? Y'all stick around.
Of course.
Okay, yeah. So we do a lot of.
We'll put you on the list.
We do a lot
We're
of
on the list.
we do a lot of stage movements and stuff like that. We just don't stand still, you know. And so there's a couple of artists, I would say 2, probably mostly that influence our stage show, and it's ZZ Top and Dwight Yoakam.
Really?
Yeah. So you'll see a lot of that tonight. But yeah, Dwight's a big influence on this band, really. So yeah, big fans. Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow.
I'm a huge Dwight Yoakam fan.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I got to throw it out there. I do it almost every podcast. He has a life-size cutout of Dwight Yoakam in his living room.
Before we wrap things up here, we do a playlist each week. So we have the artist put on a few songs that they like, not your own music, but like stuff you've been liking recently, and then we'll throw your own music on there as well. So if we just want to start at the end, work our way this way,
And
like
it can
3
be,
songs.
It can be anything you want.
Any
It can
genre.
be any genre, just whatever you want to put on.
Even Jason Aldean.
Especially Jason Aldean.
I'm gonna say Boston, Foreplay, long time.
Here, hit him, Chad.
Man, I've been digging the new Hardy album for sure.
Okay.
A radio song.
Okay.
Okay, radio song by Hardy.
So he didn't say it. He doesn't like the new Hardy album.
I'm not the biggest fan of it. Yeah.
Well, I like the Crow side. You know, I mean.
Okay.
So, like I said, all of us came originally from rock bands. So, the Crow side is, I mean, you know, the Mockingbird side is the country. You know, stuff.
I think
like
we're
that.
done here.
And
No, it's definitely something different, and
Yeah.
Hard, like it's very unique. It's and it started a while back, but it's like I've watched Hardy's progression, going from a writer, and he talks about that's kind of what radio song is about that Chad's talking about. It's
all these number 1 hits he wrote. You got to say this. It's got to be about a girl. Got to be about a truck and the moonlight and the Yeti.
And he's kind of
and then he goes
responsible for all
into
that
like
stuff.
this hard rock, like
It's
scream.
the anti-radio
He's got the guy
song,
from
really.
A Day to Remember. What's his name?
But if I was gonna throw you one, I'd have to say I've been a fan of Ernest last his most recent album, and he does a lot of touring with Hardy and Morgan Wallen. But a song that I've really liked from him right now is called Some Other Bar.
Okay.
It's a good one, I think.
Okay.
There you go.
Jagger, what you got?
So, what reminded me of this, I was gonna put it on the Cody episode, but I forgot about it. Is there was a new album. It's all covers of Stones albums, but it's country artists. It's Cold Stone Country, I think. Let me look it
I
up.
heard about that yesterday. Co Wetzel got a cut on that.
Yes, he did.
Wow.
He doesn't. He doesn't sound like Co Wetzel. He sounds like. I'm not saying Co Wetzel sounds bad, but he sounds good. Like he sounds really good. It's just a different sound for him.
Okay. I didn't hear about it.
I think I'm gonna put on. Let's see here. I think I'm gonna put on "Give Me Shelter."
Okay.
Eric Church
Okay.
from that album.
Eric Church definitely is a Stones guy.
When did that album come out? Is that recent? Very recently?
Yes, it
Yeah.
came out like maybe a couple days ago, I think.
Oh, badass. Oh,
Yeah.
we're going to listen to that.
Yeah,
I'll
Stone
go back
Cold
to
Country.
Texas tomorrow.
Oh, before sorry, I want to come back to something real quick, and I'll let you get onto it. You asked for one artist that was also cool, and that was Randall King. Our last show with Randall was at the Houston Rodeo barbecue cook-off, and we played in front of a ton of people. And we had to leave to get down to Corpus for a show the next day. And as we're pulling out, like we've never had a chance to hang out. And he got out of his bus, walked over there, stopped our Sprinter, got on and hung out with us for about 15 minutes, and had a drink
Drink a couple
before we
beers
left.
with
Yeah.
us. And, yeah.
So I just want to throw Randall's name
Awesome.
in the hat real quick.
Well,
Super
we're
down-to-earth
we're
dude.
glad to hear that because we're hoping to get him on in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I'm sure you will. No, he's not going to ghost you like Ian. He's Randall's super down to earth, cool dude.
But back to the playlist.
Okay, you just said a Eric Church song, so I'm gonna continue kind of the sort of theme here. Man Made a Bar. Morgan Wallen
Put
and
that on last.
That's a good one.
yeah,
It is.
yeah.
It is
That is
good
a
song.
great song.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's 36 songs on the album. It took me 3 days to listen to the whole thing because I wanted to hear the whole album.
Yeah.
And that song was the first one that stood out to me when I listened to it. Mm-hmm. And then the second one was The Devil Don't Know This Kind of Hell or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. That's not the name of it, but it's something like that. Devil Don't Know This Kind of Hell. But that whole album is. There's a lot of. Well, there's a couple cats we were out in Nashville that had some cuts on that album too, and Morgan Wallen. He's like modern day country Elvis. You know. I mean,
He's no Jason Aldean,
He's
but
not
it's pretty
a
good.
Jason
Aldean, no.
Man Made a Bar is good, but have you heard she's country?
Hey, real quick, you may not believe this, and something I never thought would come out of my mouth was that Kenny Chesney is awesome. If you've never seen Kenny Chesney live, the guy is great.
I've been thinking about going to. He's doing a show in Oklahoma City. I've been thinking about going.
Brother, I would have never bought tickets to a Kenny Chesney show, but I got to go during the rodeo. Mm-hmm. We had good seats, so the sound was good. I can tell you that the man prepares and puts on a hell of a show. The band is fantastic. Songs I would never jam during the weekday. I enjoyed. So I'll have to say right now, Kenny Chesney is awesome.
Awesome.
There you go.
He came out of the closet.
Hey, Hayden Haddock would love to hear that.
Real quick before we wrap it up, I got to mention one of you guys' songs. It's not one of the top songs, but After Mama's Gone.
Yeah.
Did you guys write that? Did you write that? Or?
I wrote it. Yeah.
Okay. That song is. I was listening to several of your songs, and that one caught me. That's like a powerful song.
Man, thank you so much.
That's a really.
I thought about that song in a while, man. That was off the first album, 2016. That album came out, and thank you. A buddy of mine, I got to give you a little backstory on that. One of my high school buddies, growing up, his mom passed away, and he called me one night, crying like she just passed away, and his name's Jay Scott, and his mom was a sweetheart, and God rest her soul. But he called me, and he was like, he's a songwriter too, and he said, man, he goes, Mom used to pray for me all the time, and he Jay Scott, I love him. He's a hell raising East Texas boy, and
With a heart of gold.
With a heart of gold, and he said, he's like, man, I worry just, who's gonna pray for me now that Mama's gone? And I was like, dude, we're writing.
And he's like, don't you dare write a song right now, Chad.
Don't you dare write a song right now, Dewey. And man, we so I took that, and ended up writing a song over the course. I don't know. A week later, I sent it to him. I was like, hey man, what do you think about this? And man, thank you. That's that's one of my personal favorite songs on the album too.
Yeah.
It's a song that we don't play at shows or anything like that. It's hard to start playing beer drinking songs and then play that song.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But but that's what music's about though. It's just being some of the songs are just real, and and honest. I mean, my mom's the same way. I mean, she prays for me every day. I grew up in church, you know, and but man, thanks. I mean, it's a lot. I hadn't heard about that song in a while. So
that's awesome to hear that kind of story to give that connection to it too.
That's good. Yep.
So before we go, not gonna let you get away. Did you think of a story?
Ooh, crazy times. Man, I know there's been some wild, belligerent times.
How about that one time we stopped on the side of the road and started firing off guns into that
Into Oklahoma.
in western Oklahoma.
That was cool.
At 3:00 in the morning.
That was pretty cool, but like the time that I guess I'll probably never forget about on the road. Like I don't know how wild and crazy it is, but we were on a North American tour. That sounds pretty cool. At least up in like Wyoming, and somewhere up there we were headed, and all of a sudden we lost a lot of power, and one of our hoses blew on a turbo. We're in Wyoming. If you've never been to Wyoming, it is a state with the most distance between towns before any civilization, right? So we kind of get to our gig, we're making it in, and luckily we have shore power we can plug in, and we got a guy, local mechanic, helps us wrap thing real good with duct tape. Let's see how good this goes. So we do our show, everything's great while we're hooked up, we're getting ready to go. That duct tape lasted about 30 seconds. And we had to drive all the way down to Grand Junction, Colorado.
No, that's where we came from when it blew. But then we
Fort
went
Collins?
from Sheridan, Wyoming to Fort Collins, Colorado.
Fort Collins.
Oh, wow.
Which is supposed to be, what was it, Matt? 7-hour drive. It's supposed to be like 7-8 hours.
Took us 14 hours.
Took 14 hours. And
We
then
go
so
35
Matt drove
miles an hour up and down hills.
up and down hills with no turbo, so there's no
Stopping to turn it
you
off.
You cannot go over 30 miles an hour. If you're going uphill, maybe 20 miles an hour. Going downhill, you can get some speed. And we're trying to sleep in the back, so Matt was like, "Well, I'm gonna have to drive all night and then most of tomorrow." And what should have been a 7-hour drive was 14. And I just remember cars honking at us. And Matt drove on the shoulder the whole way. I mean, and thank God it's like one highway that goes between Sheridan and Fort Collins, whatever highway that is that goes through Denver. And he drove every time. Everybody honking at us, probably flipping them off, you know.
We'd have
And
to
he's
stop,
got his flasher lights on, and
me and Chad be arguing with each other about pulling over. He's like, turn everything off. We ain't got to turn everything off. We turn it off. And but you know, it's early in the morning. You're going through struggles. You know, but we always.
It's times like that that'll test you as a band.
It will.
When shit goes wrong, when things are going right, nothing. But when shit goes wrong, that's when you get tested about, you know, how good of friends are you?
Yeah.
Our last run, we ended up. We were out for 21 days, and the last day we were just leaving. We played at the Hard Rock in Tulsa, and we were coming home to Texas. We made it about 20 minutes outside of Tulsa. Broke down.
Alternator died. And,
So
we
stayed in
then we
Tulsa
kept
like 2
going
more
and
days.
ran the battery out. So we did a U-turn and went back towards. We were closer to Tulsa because once you get south of Tulsa, I mean, unless you got about 100 miles before the nearest town, or anywhere with a shop, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So we turned around and started going back north of Tulsa, and we pulled over and on a little blacktop road, and we didn't even make it all the way up the highway. The trailer was kind of still sticking on the highway a little bit. And,
We had to get a guy tow us off the highway a little bit more.
Yeah, and then he left. But he left us there, and we called, and we got it all worked out. But man, that shit sucks, though, man. Breaking down.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you drive. We were in a Suburban for 3 years.
Well, I'll tell you what did matter is when that tow truck driver showed up. He had a Jason Aldean CD.
Everything was good.
Because we didn't have RV coverage on the AAA deal. He's like, you know what? What's your favorite Jason Aldean song? I said, no doubt, brother, Dirt Road Anthem. And he said, hell yeah, brother, me too.
They rolled them windows down,
Yeah.
hauled their ass all the way to the hotel room.
Yeah, the band rode in the van on top of the back of the truck. And I was in the front seat with the driver and his kid and his dog.
And Jason Aldean.
And Jason Aldean blaring on the radio.
That's good stuff.
True.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. We really do appreciate you guys sitting down with us. So.
Hey,
Good luck to you
appreciate you
guys.
guys for having us, man.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Do you guys have any handles on social media? A website you want to plug?
Oh yeah, so I mean, you can find all of our stuff on Chad Cooke, Cooke with an E, ChadCookeBand.com. You can find all of our links to our stuff on there. We got Facebook, Instagram, TikTok too. As long as that's gonna be around, who knows?
Yeah.
You know, they might get rid of that soon. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
Hit me up on Instagram at Dallas from Houston.
hell yeah. Well, thank y'all for having us, man.
Thank
We
you.
really, really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.